Hi, this is Anton with Buildmart Windows and Doors. Today we're at a client's house where we already installed or replaced windows with black vinyl windows. And the client also wants to replace a front door, which we will replace very soon. Some of you have asked how to take proper measurements of a door in order to get a quote or in order to order just a door from us for cash and carry requests. Today I'll show you how to take measurements of a door on this old unit right here. And since we're going to replace it with our door, I'll show you the intricacies of some of the dimensions that are required to be measured. So usually I would start with measuring the opening from brick to brick. Now it's important to remember that in North American construction, dimensions are always stated width first, height second. That's why I always measure the width first. So at this opening, I'll measure the width, which is exactly 61 inches by height. 96 inches, exactly 8 feet. Now, the reason it's important to measure a height for this door is because there's a transom. Most doors, or rather, all doors have a standard size, which is 82 inches and a quarter. Some doors come in 81.5 inches of height, but this door has a transom. That's why it's important for us to measure the height to the exact dimension. So here we have 61 inches by 96 inches between brick. This is important to write down for myself because this will later tell me what thickness of the brick mold is required for this door. Next, I will confirm the size of the door slab that the client wants. In this case, the client wants to keep the door slab the same width as this one. So I would measure the width of the slab. This door slab is 36 inches wide. Slabs have standard width as well. They come in 32, 34, 36, 38 inches of width. Essentially 2-inch increments in difference. I'm not sure what the maximum door width is, but I believe we have doors that are up to 42 inches wide, which is a very big door, usually installed in a commercial application. So this door is this door slab is 36 inches wide. The next step would be to measure the door from inside. And right now I'll show you how to do it with trim still installed on the old door. Now, this door has trim installed on the frame. You can see the trim right here. We will be replacing this trim, but not today. And so I don't want to remove this trim and leave the client's front door with no trim, nails and drywall exposed. So how do we measure the actual width of the door with trim on? The frame of the door is usually about 3/4 of an inch. So what I can do is I can measure from inside of the door frame to the inside of the door frame on the other side. In this case, it's 57 inches. So I will add 3/4 of an inch twice. So 1.5 inches. In other words, we get 58.5 inches of width. For height, as I said, the standard height for a door is usually 82.5 inches, which is what you can see right here. But we do have a transom, so I do need to measure all the way up because the new door will come as one unit. In other words, the door will be attached, the side lights and the transom will be attached to the door. And so I'm measuring the total height of the door. Here we have 94 inches to the frame, and I do want to add another 3/4 to get the actual height of the door, which will give me 94 3/4. To make sure we have sufficient space for installation, I will leave the height at 94.5 inches, just so that we know there's space to play with door adjustment in case the house framing or house foundation has settled and the framing is a little off level. And also to make sure we have a sufficient space for installation. So we have 58.5 inches of width by 94.5 inches of height. I don't need to measure the width of side lights because this width will be calculated by a CNC machine at the door factory. Same goes for the transom. When a new door arrives, it will be wrapped, packaged with cardboard and in all kinds of ways protected from damage during transportation, because it will get loaded and offloaded from a delivery truck, then will be loaded and unloaded from a door installer's truck as well. The glass, one thing to mention, the glass in side lights and in the door itself is always tempered. This is a requirement by building code because this glass is very close to the floor, and so there's a higher potential for breaking this glass. Tempered glass will break into small square pieces, which pretty much minimize potential for somebody cutting themselves should the event of glass breaking occur. Next step would be to measure the depth of the frame. Now, house framing comes in two standards. It could be built with 2x4 or it could be built with 2x6 lumber, dimensional lumber. In this case, I can see right away that this house is made with 2x6 because the thickness of the door is 6 5/8 of an inch. In other words, we have two very common standards for thickness of the door frame: 4 inches and 5/8 for 2x4 framing and 6 inches and 5/8 for 2x6 framing. 6 inches and 5/8 will be the size of the door that we'll order here. Next step is to measure the dimensions of the door sill. Now, we did say that the width of the whole unit will be 58.5 inches, but the sill will be a little wider. It will actually go from brick to brick. Now, I did measure this width already, but measure twice, cut once. Mistakes are expensive in our business. Here we get 61 inches between brick, so I do want to leave some space for play during installation, so I'll leave it at, I will measure the sill at 60 inches and 3/4 of an inch. This will be the width of the sill on the door. Again, it will come assembled as one unit, so the sill will already be attached to the frame of the door. 60 inches and 3/4 for width. And now we need to measure the depth of the sill. Here we have 9 inches of depth. We'll make sure to match the new door sill to the original one, because we want the new caulking that will be installed in the new door to cover the old caulking lines. Also, it will land on the same place on the brick, so it will have maximum support. With so many different measurements required to properly order a door, we highly recommend getting a professional to take all of these measurements, because making a mistake in window and door industry costs a lot. As always, if you have any questions, please write them down in the comments below or contact Buildmart Windows and Doors, and we'll be happy to help you.